Technology-Infused Assessment Module, BIP 4306, by Valentina Vargas
and Stephanie Dominguez. My perceptions before class. Some of the perceptions we had before taking this class were the following. 1. English language learners require one-on-one instruction, which might hold back the other students in the same classroom. 2. English language learners are those students that come from another country and do not speak English.
3. There are not a lot of qualified teachers to teach English language learners. 4. The bilingual programs is not always beneficial for the students. 5. English language learner students need to be exposed to English in order for them to learn and practice it.
My perceptions after class. After having taken this class, our perceptions have changed in the following ways. English language learners need their native language in order to be able to learn how to speak, read, and write English fluently. There are still not a lot of qualified teachers to teach English language learners. Teachers can provide accommodations to English language learners in class without having to interrupt instruction from everyone. One of the best programs is the two-way dual language program. And everyone is an English language learner because we are acquiring language every day.
Some of the common misconceptions that we found are the following. Newcomers to the United States are learning English more slowly now than in previous generations. This is false because immigrants appear to be acquiring English more faster than ever before.
According to data, there are more immigrants now that speak English in comparison to back in between the 80s and the 90s. Also, about 3 in 4 Hispanic immigrants speak English on a daily basis after having lived in this country for 15 years.
Other common misconception is bilingual education does not teach English to students. This is false because all bilingual model programs teach the student to learn English.
There are a lot of different programs that are provided in the schools for the students. For example, there is the dual language program, which teaches the students English and their native language. There are also early and late exit transitional programs, amongst others. Another common misconception that we found is that someone can learn English in a year at the most. We found that this is a fallacy because it takes students about 2 to 5 years in order for them to be able to develop their basic interpersonal communication skills, and it takes them about 7 or more years to be able to acquire the academic language proficiency that they need.
The fourth common misconception is parents oppose bilingual education. This is false because most of the parents want their children to learn English and their native language for such reasons as career-related advantages.
The last common misconception that we found is that high dropout rates are due to bilingual education. This is false because there are other reasons for students to drop out of high school. Research shows that the reasons associated with this program are family poverty, low academic achievement, as well as having been retained in previous grades.
Some of the critical concepts that stood out to us the most are the following. Previous schooling experience. This concept of previous schooling experience links back to Thomas and Collier theory, which it explains how a student who is proficient in L1 will acquire the second language at a much faster rate.
Another critical concept is program disadvantages and advantages. The programs that the students are placed have an impact on the L2 acquisition, even though the programs have a similar end goal, which is to acquire the English language. Some programs have more benefits for the students in the long run than others. Another critical concept is the acceptance in culture. Immigrant students can fall either under acculturation or assimilation. Acculturation being those students are able to accommodate to the American culture as well as maintain their native culture with them. However, assimilation refers to those that accept and accommodate to the American culture but begin to leave their native culture behind.
Another critical concept is parent involvement. Sometimes teachers think that parents do not care about their child's education, but in reality, this is not the case. In Hispanic culture and other cultures, there are a lot of parents that value education. They feel that going to school every day is very important. Just because they don't attend parent meetings doesn't mean that they don't care. Sometimes they have multiple jobs, they don't understand the language, or they are not aware of the parent meetings.
After taking this class, we came up with some do's and don'ts to keep in mind when working with English language learners. Some of the do's are the following. Do keep in mind that not all students come from the same native country background. Do understand that these students might not be familiar with certain cultural norms. Do provide accommodations for ELLs such as visuals.
Do treat all your students equal, no matter if they are English language learners. Another one, when you have discipline strategies, do what you say you will do, because if you don't do it, the students will not take the disciplinary action seriously.
And some of the don'ts are the following. Do not assume that the parents of English language learners are not active and involved in their child's education. Understand that as a family, the parents might be facing problems. Also, do not begin a lesson with the students about material that they may have not been exposed to before. Always activate prior knowledge so they have a better understanding of new concepts.
Don't expect that English language learners take the same test as regular students. Teachers need to provide accommodations for the English language learners when they take a test. Also, don't tell a parent that their child needs to be checked for a disability when you have not taken anecdotal notes. This also includes the English language students. Not only because they're English language learners, they have a disability. Also, do not single a student out if he or she does not understand something. Try to include them instead.